Well, that was like the highlight for me to even see her when we did that first, the wives or mothers day thing. And she came and, oh my gosh, she just was like, that was awesome. When can we go back to charities?
So that kind of does take me to the next thing I want to talk about was, so when Allison and I came to the house that first time and how, because we did touch on it last time we interviewed, but obviously it's not here. Yeah. But you know, how we were kind of like, it was a little bit intimidating for us knowing how early on it was. And there was a lot going on at the house. There was caretakers there, and you guys were still figuring out how to navigate what was going on and all of that. But I wanted to have you talk about like when we reached out and kind of us coming and kind of what that was like, honestly, in the beginning, and then when you came to Stars and that. So kind of just take us on that little.
Yeah. So, I mean, when I had her, I mean, it was awesome. I was super excited. That was great. Wonderful. All these things. And, you know, in the back of my mind was, cool, she's going to be walking by then.
Oh, yeah.
Cool, she's going to be fixed by then, you know, by the February.
By Stars.
Yeah.
So when we reach out, it's usually around September. And so that would have been February. So October, November, December, January, February. So you had hopes for 5-6 months.
Yeah. I mean, in my mind, it was cool. We're going to go to Craig, and she's going to walk out of Craig Hospital, and we're going to, you know, all these things. That was my drive, you know, really. And then I think when we were home, and then when you came to visit us and stuff, you and Allison, we weren't there, and we were far from there. And I think it just, when you reach these months, because when you, in this situation in particular, and I don't know every, you know, injury, damage, whatever, but the doctors are very much like, by this time, if they're not doing this, they're not going to. By this month, they should be doing this. You should be seeing this. If they aren't going to get that to this point, they might not have that, recover from that. You know, they really put a 2-year mark on complete, total, like, recovery from things. And I think when you look at a lot of different situations and stories, you'll see that's not true.
Oh, in our organization, we know that's not true.
Right? I mean, case in point, you know, but we know that now, and it's so disheartening because I really, truly wish and that there was a better dynamic between doctor, patient in this situation. It is absolutely devastating for a loved one to go through this. And, you know, it's mostly, the older they are, the less chance they're going to have of, you know, coming back, which again, kind of not true. I've seen many cases where the 40 years old and they came back, you know, and it's you go through these emotions of, we're at the 5-month mark, you know, and you're like, okay, this is it. This is when she's going to start talking and all these things. And there was a lot of things that she was doing in the earlier months that really provoked us to have that high hopes and be like, yes, this is going to happen. And then it would go past, and then we get past dates of when other people's stories that they said that they recovered.
Hard. Comparing.
You're constantly comparing. And then I'd get to this point where, this other, you know, and it was kind of like and it was like 8 months or 11 months or whatever that occurred in those stories, other people that I had met and stuff like that she would surpass that and not be there. So when you guys showed up in that February or whenever date that was that?
That's right. October, probably early October, when we came over to your house.
Yeah.
And end of September, beginning of October, probably.
Okay.
Why? You think it was different?
No, I think it was later. I think it was probably like
November?
January, because we weren't even home yet from Colorado.
Oh, maybe with you guys it was different because usually we meet right away. But that's right. Yeah, it was probably
we were leaving
closer
from
to
San Diego. To
okay,
Colorado.
so probably January.
Yeah. So in that moment, she wasn't there yet, and I think I just had this devastation of I wanted her to walk the red carpet, you know.
Yeah.
And it was so hard to go through this and feel like, this is just stupid. Like, what are we doing here? You know? And then when we went, I think it was just a completely different, I mean, the way it happened and the way we went through everything, getting ready and having just, it was crazy how God was just like, I'm going to show you how cool it's going to be, you know, just show up. And it was awesome. And since then, like you said, I mean, we felt like welcomed into the family and all that other kind of stuff. And it really is cool because, I mean, you see, for us, we saw, it wasn't just us that was beneficiaries at the time, right?
Yeah.
So it was like being able to hear other people's stories and see other people's hardships. And again, you know, yes, you can look at our story and be like, wow, that's a lot though. That's pretty heavy. But to the other person that's going through their thing, that is pretty heavy, right? So it was definitely an eye-opener to have a little bit more, again, humility, I think, and meekness.
Perspective. Maybe.
And perspective, yeah. Right. But it just felt good to be looked at in a different light, and even for Landis to be looked at differently, you know what I mean? And not just looked at like, this is who you're ever going to be, or you're a patient, or, you know, oh, poor you kind of thing. Like, I didn't ever want that for her. I wanted this. I constantly kept hearing God from the very beginning, just pray for her, because just watch, just wait and watch, you know, and just kept hearing, pray for her. And that's where the whole 333 came
that's
into.
right.
But
share that.
So I mean, with the praying thing, that's where it came about, where I kept hearing God saying, like, people need to pray. People need to pray for her. Bring it to prayer. Bring it to prayer. Have people come and pray over her, putting hands on her, that kind of stuff. And Michael and I were trying to figure out how do we do this for everybody to pray for her, kind of thing, to be loud enough, you know. It just came into my mind of collectively praying at the same time, you know, because everybody says, oh, I'll pray for you. And, you know, you're in my prayers, kind of thing, which is always good. It's not a bad thing. I'm just saying, you know, when you say that to somebody, do we actually, you know, I think for God, when God says you're going to pray for somebody, you better stop. Pray for him. Yeah. Pray for him right now, you know.
I do that, so especially so I don't forget too.
Exactly, right? So you don't forget.
Just want to do it right
so
then.
Easy to do that. We had come up with this, okay, we got to have a time. And then it just popped into our heads, the 333. And then it just kind of started spinning of where it came from. So Jeremiah 33:3, to call upon the Lord, you know, and he will answer. Cool. And then like there was three people in the accident. We have three kids. You know, the Holy Trinity. Oh, every room that she was in was a 3. Like she was always on the 3rd floor. So it just kind of like things that popped up. It was crazy. I mean, 333 just came up all the time. Our favorite like PT assistant at Rady's had this tattoo on her arm. It was 333, and we were like, "Whoa, what is that from?" And she told us the story. And she just was like crying. I remember her crying just like as we were telling her. And she was like, oh my gosh. Like she just had to share. And so it's this great preface to open up conversation with people too. Yeah. You know, like, hey, if you're a praying person, pray at 333. A story of when I went to a retreat for moms in this situation. I think I might have mentioned it the last talk we had. But the ministries is called Upheld Ministries, and it's a mom who created the ministry for parents that go through, basically moms, but that go through traumatic brain injury or anoxic brain injury with their kiddos. And they do like 2 retreats a year in Texas, and it's like in the springtime and the fall. And so somehow through my Facebook groups, I got wrapped up into it, and I was like, oh, I wonder if I could go, you know, and it was like this big ordeal because I hadn't been anywhere away from Landis. So it was this huge thing. Anyway, so I ended up going, and it was like a weekend, and I flew out of like Palm Springs or something. Palm Springs. And so I'm like, oh, you know, and I needed headphones for the plane. And I'm like, oh, okay. I go into this store, and like, it was the craziest thing. I'm ready to buy my thing. And you know, you don't talk to people all that much, right? Well, all of a sudden everything just shuts down in the airport. Like their lights, their cash registers, all the things.
Oh, it all power just goes down.
It just stopped working. Like, and so the guy was like, oh, he's like pushing the button. He's like, oh, no, what's happening? You know, he's getting all like, man, this was just working like 2 seconds ago. And I was like, well, maybe it's time for us to talk or something. Like, it was just one of those things. And we kind of started talking. He looked at my phone, and I had a picture of Landis, and he just was kind of like, oh, beautiful family here. And I was like, yeah, it's my daughter. And I just opened up. And then I just told them, I said, I know this might sound weird. Maybe it sounds weird to you or something. And I said, but if you're praying, if you pray, we pray for it 333 every day. And just his face, like this welling up of emotion in his face. And he just was like, I 100% will pray for her. Oh. And I just kind of was like, so sometimes, when you never know you're going to say that stuff, it might offend somebody. We're so offended nowadays, Yeah. And this gentleman was not of the, he was gay. So I don't want to make it, anything like political or whatever. Or anything
right.
But the kindness of his heart is what came through. And so what the Lord says to us about, the judgment of others and that kind of thing. It just kind of was all dropped away.
Yeah.
And that didn't matter because he knew I knew. And it was one of those things. But it was kind of like, he just was like, of course I'll pray for her. And he was like, tell me more about her. And, and just the tears welling up in his eyes about the whole story. And
what a sweetheart.
I mean, he was just like that 5-minute kind of brief story thing. But he just was legitimately like and genuinely
invested. Yeah.
He was invested in it. Yeah. And he's like, I'm going to call my husband. Tell him to pray too. He's like, I'm going to have him pray too. But he was telling me like, our alarm code has 3 threes in it or something. I'm like, don't tell me that, dude. But like, he was like,
give out your
just some stranger. But it was funny that he was telling me, like a stranger, he doesn't know who I am from Adam. But like, he was going into the story because he just was so enveloped in it. And I often wonder about that, cool. Like, if I followed up, I don't know his name or anything like that. But but just cool things like that.
But it seems
starts like conversation.
I always say God is in the details, and He gave you those numbers not for accident.
No,
And so now He uses those to show you, and communicate with you, and remind you, and all of those things. And I think that's just so cool.
Yeah,
so
it is
cool.
really
That's
cool.
really, really neat.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so at Stars, you guys, I wanted to point out, like, the hair and makeup was really fun.
Yes.
Seeing you guys get all dolled up.
Yeah.
But I think my favorite part, and it was because I'd only met you like maybe the one time before that.
Probably, yeah. I think so.
And it was hard and heavy, and I didn't know you were really like outgoing and funny and hilarious person, and I didn't get that from you from the beginning. But I just loved seeing you and Brylan out on the dance floor, just having fun. And there's a million things I love about God's organization, Charity for Charity, but that is definitely one of them. How you guys can be amongst others that totally get what you're going through, and you can feel comfortable and alive and
just let loose.
Cut loose. Yeah. And so I just love it. And now I know that you guys definitely have dancing feet. Like you guys, that is a thing you love. But yeah, and then just getting to know, like Mike, I had only talked to him the one time too. And I got to talk to him, I think, out in the lobby a little bit more. And then all the stories that came through of people, non-believers and believers that night afterwards that talked to me about how impactful it was. And I get that every Stars, but I think with Landis, typically they're like, the beneficiary walks up on stage,
right.
or they're, or they are more like they're interactive. And I don't think people expected Landis to not be. And so it took everybody, it was like, and it was recent too. And a lot of people had heard about the story, obviously, because of the community. So I think a lot of people were just like taken. So, but you look at that and, and the why me and why my daughter and why, and, and we don't really get comforted by this, but you see God use them hugely. And the stories that I got that night, and I think I wrote them down because I didn't want to forget them, but there was 2 very significant stories that you guys impacted these people. And you just go, God, he ultimately he wants to bring people to him, right? So in everything that we're doing here on earth, it's all about that. It's how do I get these people to come to me? he uses all different things in all different ways. And I'm not sure that those of you that are going through it at this capacity feel this, but I always look at people like you and people like Ramon and Juanita, and I go, wow, God trusted them with this really big thing. Like, he knew you could do it, you know, and not that he gave it to you, but that he knew that you could take it and glorify him through it. And I think that's an honor, despite of, you know, all of the you know, obviously you wouldn't want anyone to have that, but I think it's a really big, I mean, I look at you guys and Juanita and Ramon and all, I mean, so many of our beneficiary families that are just like, you know, Jesus shines through their family, and you're smiling and you're living, and that is a testimony. And I think that's a beautiful gift that you give others despite your circumstances. So thank you for that.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all glory to God. And it's, you know, nothing by my own will, but his, and not by my own strength, but his. So it's, you know, it's always good to hear that, because I think for me, it's even encouraging when I hear that there's a story of, you know, redemption for somebody else in their life, or a story of coming to Jesus, or, you know, I mean, I will never forget that moment of when we had basically all these people that came to the hospital when she was at Inland, and we had like a vigil, right?
Yeah.
And that night, one of the teenagers had given her life to Christ, and it was kind of, that's so cool. Like, oh my gosh, you know, and so it is a privilege. It's an honor to be able to hold that. And I mean, if you allow it, the light that God can shine on you, and to be able to have been given this test. I mean, this is surely a test.
It is.
And it's not necessarily, you know, I think back when you were talking about it earlier, even when you were saying something like, how can you even have faith in a God that would allow this or cause this or whatever? And to me, I think it does go back to that fallen, sinful world thing. And I don't think that God is like, okay, this is going to be in your life and this is going to be in your life.
Yeah.
But he knows it's going to happen. So he looks at it and goes, gosh, how can I turn this into good?
Exactly.
How can I take what the devil tried to come steal
Yes.
and kill and destroy? How can I make this good?
Yes, exactly.
And it is amazing when I hear stories like that. I mean, it's reconfirming for me and encouraging for me to keep going.
Yeah.
And encouraging for me to go, okay, putting that one foot in front of the other, we're going to keep going. And, you know, even for Landis, I think it was so like odd of being afraid to like say stuff to Landis about her or her condition or anything to her about that. And now I have this different aspect of it. I'm kind of like, Landis, look how cool this is that somebody said to me that they came to Christ because of your story.
Yeah.
How cool is that, dude?
Very
like,
cool.
you know, or
Totally.
you know, we'll talk to her like that, or just, you know, encouraging her and daily, like, hey, honey, I know this is hard. You must be suffering and struggling a lot.
Yeah.
I get that. It sucks. But I want you to cling to God. Keep reaching out your hand. Keep doing that, and keep telling her that stuff. Because when I say it to her, it's like I'm saying it to me.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah. Like it reinforces
So it's
it.
reinforcing to me too. Like, okay, you know, all right, Sarah, keep reaching out your hand, you know, because you cannot do this on your own strength. And I get that all the time from people. Like, gosh, you're such a strong mom, or
You really
"You're so
are.
strong, mama,"
Well, you
and
are.
this kind of stuff.
100%.
I mean, we
you
can't
know.
dumb that down at all, but
Not at all.
No, yeah, but I mean, like for me, I kind of want to reiterate, and it's not that I don't want to say it makes me feel awkward, but it always makes me feel like, oh, like I don't want to be like, yeah, to my own horn, I'm strong. Look at me, you know. I kind of want to make sure.
well, you know where the strength is coming from,
Right,
and that's where your glory back to God. And I think
and that's what I want to kind
Yeah.
of, you know, exude out of me, is being
Yes.
like, it's not me, it's God.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you know, God gives me the strength, and
well, that's what it is. It's an opportunity to glorify Him,
Right.
in that comment.
Right.
So it's a beautiful thing.
right,
And so, I mean, people say that too. Oh, Charity, look what you're doing with this organization. I'm like, it's not mine. It's a God's organization. Yeah, but you're doing it because you have a choice. I have a choice. I don't have to do it.
right,
You know, it's God's organization, but it does take feet on the faith. It does take,
Right.
you know, leadership. It does take
Right.
it takes all that. So same thing with you. God can give you the strength. Do you accept it? Do you use it for his glory? And so you are doing that. And so in that, just like me, sometimes you have to say, thank you. Yes.
Yes, thank you.
And
Yes.
then you can give the glory to God.
Yes,
You give the glory back to God. But it is, it's a great testimony in one sentence when people
sure.
admire your strength.
For sure. I think it makes the invisible things visible.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you can't see God, you can't feel God, that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
When people are like, how do you have faith in something you can't even see?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Well, I'm like, here's what you can see.
Yeah.
So it makes the invisible faith that you have visible in other people
100%.
and how they are faith-filled and how they live out their life and all those other kinds of things. And,
Yeah, exactly.
a lot of times we're always just like, oh, wow, props to them or whatever. But I do think that is God's gifts and what God can do and what God wants to do and wants to show you makes it visible for you, tangible.
Yeah, exactly.
Something that you can hug and touch and talk to. And
And that's what I feel like, all of you beneficiaries and your families are. You're all of the visible of God's work. And, you look at when we put out those prayer requests, like when Lily had that big scare and it's like all prayers on deck, and it summoned everyone, believers, non-believers, people of opposite political, nobody cared. Nobody cared. Everybody, and even if it was the good vibes, you had to think of her. You had, it was just one step closer for that, maybe even non-believer to kind of do what they don't know is a prayer, but it's an opportunity for God to bring everyone together. And that's what, it's one of the million things I love about Charity for Charity. The organization is just how, it's out there in so many different walks of life.
Right.
And we use you guys as real, tangible people, a lot of times with causes. And I always say all of the nonprofits are necessary and beautiful and wonderful and a blessing. But a lot of times when you donate, you're not necessarily knowing the person that you're affecting and helping. And so with Charity for Charity and keeping you guys in our Charity for Charity family and you guys allowing us to, helps people to really see this on a regular basis. Yep. And I think that's a really beautiful design of God's with this. Cause I didn't set out a plan to make Charity for Charity and have okay, this is the guidelines for it. It kind of just evolved like this, but that's where God orchestrated it. And you guys, and I want to thank you for staying involved with Charity for Charity because it really, you guys get something out of it, but we do too. And the community does too. And it's so much bigger and greater than any of us know. And I heard, 2 or 3 stories from your year, but there was more stories out there that I didn't hear, that they didn't come up and tell me,
Right.
So just being vulnerable to come to the event, allowing us to put you on stage, the whole family, and, and then staying apart is what makes Charity for Charity so special. And so thank you so much for being involved and staying involved. And,
of course.
And Gavin went out to the Dude's Day, didn't he? Yeah, that was so we started as moms and dads and, or moms and wives and husbands and dads. Yeah. But then we're especially with these older siblings, it's more of a caretaker day off, day to play kind of thing. Yeah. Well, and with Brylan coming that first year too, it's she helps with Landis all the time. Yeah, she should be there too. Yeah. So it kind of helped us to see it a little bit differently and open it up to more. Just because I think with the moms, we were thinking, well, maybe you'd want to get away from all the kids, right. But yeah, everybody has a choice. But yeah, those are the things. It's a blessing to be able to be involved in your family's life and follow the journey and see all of the great milestones that Landis has reached and know that she's continuing. And you guys are if I could sum up your first 2 year or even your first year, you guys were all over the country, weren't you? And constantly, you seek out constant treatment for her.
I do. Yes. we were everywhere. I mean, we were in Colorado, and that was at Craig Hospital. Then we came home, and then it was like, okay, what's next? Like what else is there? And Sabrina was probably the first person I talked to that I knew that was, lived near me or whatever. And she very much encouraged, was like, go home, do this, go to the red light therapy, go to this, go to that, hyperbaric, blah, blah, blah. I mean,
she's
like,
very,
yes. And I was like, okay. And, but at that time it was still this option for Craig. And so that's when we chose to do that. But when we did come home, it was kind of like, all right, like maybe this Western stuff is not the path or something.
It seems like it can be limiting.
It is limiting. Well, it's limiting because that's how we created our health system.
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
that's a whole nother gamut. I can
Yes, it is.
But it's been amazing because in the connections that I have made, and just even with other people that are going through this as parents or with their loved ones or what have you, I have been able to learn so much. And then just Michael and I doing research. I mean, Mike does a really good job at being able to find and do research and stuff like that. And then, the blessing of having medical knowledge in my background and being like, okay, I can see how this specifically helps this system in the brain and this system in the body and da-da-da. And so, okay, yeah, it's worth it. And I mean, because these alternative treatments are not, $50 in it.
No, they're not free.
They aren't free and they are not cheap by any means.
Yeah.
So we're constantly like trying to figure out, raise money and raise funds and things like that for her to be able to go do these alternative treatments. Because yes, we went to Louisiana and we were there for 2 weeks, and it was a like functional neurology type stuff, but it was all about the red light therapy and the lasers and the this and the that and the vibrations and things like that. And she did kind of take some stuff back from that. And then when we came home, we turned right back around and we got accepted into TIER, which is another rehab hospital in Texas. And it was great.
Wow.
And the facility there, the PT, the OT, the speech therapists, they're all wonderful. But again, because it's such an administration type, it's hard. It's a system of insurance and it's just
A lot.
it is what it is. And, we're grateful for the time that we did have there because that's where we found out she was more emerged than we thought she was. That's where she was able to identify reading from, the letters on the row. And we were able to see that she could write on a whiteboard. We were able to see all these things that we didn't know she could do.
So
They definitely pulled out things from her. I'm grateful for that trip. And it was fun because we took the RV. And it was a good time.
Because you got to have fun.
Yeah. So we were
During
kind of
it
like, how are we going to do this all? Like, let's just make it a fun, trip. And of course that comes with, problems and stuff, but it was still good. Like I can still say I enjoyed being able to take that trip and, make those memories and stuff. Like we used to do when we were in the RV. So it was kind of like this. We turned it into Landis, we're in the RV again, but yeah, we did that. And then we came home again. And then we've gone kind of like to Newport for intensives. We went to LA for an intensive. So that's kind of what in this realm that you learn is a lot of people do intensives.
Yeah.
But these intensives, most of them, the ones that are quality, I wouldn't say quality, but maybe like the ones that are really
Effective.
Yeah. Or where you feel like, yes, this is well worth the time. Those are you're paying from.
Yeah.
And so because they're not like constructed to boxes that they have to check or, can they do this and will insurance pay for it? And blah, 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 blah. Most of these places want to do that for your loved one, but they are tied, right?
Yeah.
So these little intensives that we've done, and even in the Valley here, we did kind of an intensive with TMS. It's that they're here. And it's just funny because I would have never known some of these places existed. And here.
You wouldn't know unless, you needed to know.
Right? Yeah. Because unless you needed to know, right? Yes. But like, it's cool to find that out, So there is a TMS place here. And we did that with her last summer, which again, these all are proven stuff that does work. However, it's everybody's individual on how they respond.
Right.
So for Landis, like we could see a lot of good things that came from the TMS, but was it, the miracle? No.
Right.
But I know it helped her. And then stem cells, that's another thing that's a big hot topic. Lots of people like to talk about those, but, and I think what we were told earlier about stem cells, I think it's so hard because the things that do actually do good for somebody are so put into this light of they're so bad. They're so bad. You can't do that. That's horrible. Blah, blah, blah.
Well,
and then they make it a political thing. And
this
then
is our health world.
Yes. And so I'm
right?
like, why would we ever
If it fix you, they make it complicated. And if it doesn't, then they encourage
and then
it.
it's, not FDA and all these things and blah, blah, blah. But, I've learned a lot of stuff. And again, I won't go down that rabbit hole because there's a lot to it. But for her, we've seen improvement.
Yeah.
And so with hyperbaric, we've seen improvement. And again, it's a long haul because again, brain injury itself just takes a really long time to heal. And if you think about the injury that she had with her diffuse axonal, what that basically is microbleeds. There's a shearing in the brain and there's microbleeding everywhere, the entire brain.
Oh, wow.
So
will that stop eventually?
It doesn't keep bleeding, but it's this, just the impact of the what happened in the accident and everything like that, the way that the brain shook because it had such impact. And it just, the whole brain got affected. I always try to think of a better way to think about how to explain it really. But if you were to look at, has any of you guys ever gone to the bodies exhibits or anything like that?
I did one time. A long time
I know what you're talking about, but I have not been in it. But
what is that?
It's
it's like a
the human
museum
body
of the human body.
They
Yeah.
have pop-ups, they're in Vegas. There's
Yeah, or in San Diego.
Orange
But it's
County,
basically deceased bodies that they've either shown.
Ron is like,
I know. I'm sorry. It seems so
I've
cool
never
and
been there.
gruesome to anybody else, but for me, I'm like, ooh,
Well,
it's so interesting.
that's where your interest and passion
Right. But it's cool because they kind of identify muscles. I mean, how, we've got a ton of muscles in our body, and the tiniest little muscle, you never even think you needed it, to use it until you do. Right. But
like your toe. But if you get your big toe, if you didn't have that muscle, you'd
sprain your
fall.
big toe.
It's weird.
Your balance would be
It's
off
very
for sure.
strange, yeah. But it's really cool to they have one part of the exhibit where it's the capillaries basically and the whole arterial system, and it does show the head. So if you were to take the brain mass out, it's all it looks like a web. It's just a huge web of all these arterioles and arteries and your basically capillaries. The capillaries is the term of when you get closer to the distant.
The tip.
Edge of it, yeah. So you have capillaries in your finger, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. But these are tiny, 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 tiny vessels, right, that are in your brain. And it's a massive amount of webbing that goes on there. And so when that happens, that shearing, those all kind of you think of it they all just kind of go, pop. Yeah, exactly.
Do they ever heal?
Yeah. I mean, that's where, because it's so tiny and intricate and so many and so much, and the brain is so fragile and so delicate, that's why it takes so long. Because
so they bleed until they're healed?
No.
Oh, okay.
Not necessarily. I mean, some people can have bleeds that kind of just keep going and they can't stop it. And when that happens, though, then fortunately, that doesn't mean kind of death because you can't have bleeding on the brain.
Oh, okay.
But with this, what I was trying to get to kind of is that because of the time frame it takes to get that to heal, and you're doing all these other types of alternative treatments like hyperbaric and things like that. And the way that hyperbaric works, it's a science. You'd have to look at it. But it helps the healing come faster. It's basically what hyperbaric
speeds it up.
Speeds up healing. So that's another, that's one of these alternative treatments. And so is, the stem cells and everything like that. So we're always trying to raise money, what's next?
Shout out the GoFundMe.
Oh, yeah. So we do have a GoFundMe on her, basically on her website. So we made a landistrong.com website.
Landis, Landis, strong, strong.com.
Check it out. Yes, check it out.
But it kind of just does a brief of her story. And we also have a connection to the GoFundMe to where we kind of update with updates and things that she's doing and or the next treatment or therapy we're looking at. But we also do private therapy at home. Mm-hmm. So all the time. So that's always a cost. You know, and then just other things, you know, when I'm doing these blends, learning about her G-tube and what's important and the proprietary blends that are in these G-tube feeds aren't the greatest. So I've kind of decided, okay, I took this on last year about chucking those in the trash and feeding her food.
This sounds like a Shark Tank proposal. She's
I'm
making
not really.
clean, pure food for G-tubes.
How do you do that?
I make a meal basically, and sometimes I'll double up just so that if I need to store it, but blend it all in a Vitamix, and then if I need to, sometimes there's like extra grains, like if I use walnuts or pecans or something like that, or any kind of nuts, you get little tiny little seeds, and those don't always go through the G-tube, so you do have to strain some of it. But majority of it she's getting. I'll do chicken, like I cook chicken. So this might be like an example of one meal. Chicken, zucchini, carrots. I might even do organic. It's all organic too. So that's another thing. That ain't cheap.
Hopefully that'll change here soon,
right? Organic peas, and then like walnuts and pecans. And then the base is usually like a coconut water or coconut milk. Coconut milk
That
and
helps
coconut
it
water.
move through the G-tube.
The fluids, the liquids, yes. But the coconut base is a lot of the mineralized things that you need daily. Coconut water and coconut milk is really good for that. It's actually.
So you're a nutritionist. You're I can't even imagine all the titles you could have. Right.
I know.
An OT, a PT,
speech pathologist.
All the things.
You are so many things.
Yeah.
Oh my
and you
gosh.
become this. It's not something,
Right.
nobody goes, I'm going to do all these things. for my life."
Right.
But you learn
to.
all those things. You do it.
Well, it's a
because-
survival.
It
It is.
survival.
You literally are surviving with your new, the new life that you are leading. Well, and beneficiary, interview after interview, we're seeing a very similar trend on that.
Yeah.
And something I wanted to bring up, kind of along the lines of these things, is that you mentioned Sabrina.
Yes.
And I know you and Nairi have a really great relationship and our support to each other. And I know Donna, it's had to, you guys, there's so many, all you TBI families have a connection. And that's another thing I just love.
Me too.
I just love watching and seeing you support each other and be a resource for each other. And just the little, even encouraging words. And it's not just the TBI, just you guys on Lily's post and Vince, everybody crossing over and praying for one another and loving one another. And
Love it.
I just love it
Me
so
too.
much. It's
I really
so
do.
sweet.
No, it's cool. I mean,
It's a community of,
is.
of
And
support. And it's
it
just
always
cool.
feels good too when I'm praying or if I see something else like that. Not feels good for them, but feels good for me to be able to take a beat back from me and my life
focus
and what
on
I'm
it,
going on and being like, I'm praying for this person, or I'm praying for Lily, or I'm going to pray for Vince, or I'm going to pray for Romello, or I'm going to pray, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It does feel good. It does feed your soul, and I think that the intention of what God said, what prayer we're supposed to be, right?
Totally.
I mean, you're lifting up that person, and so.
And so, you guys sharing information and not always using each other's information, but even just being able to say, hey, we did this and this worked and I tried this and this didn't work or whatever. But that's been really cool to watch.
Yeah, I mean, most of the stuff we've done has been because of connections and not just within Charity for Charities, but
the community itself of the TBI community.
Yeah.
So you're on are you in a Facebook group with it?
There's a couple Facebook groups and stuff like that that's on there, but
and here's where social media is good.
Yes.
To some people, it's like a double-edged sword. People are like, and
Yeah.
it's like, but there's so many great things that come from social media.
yeah, I think when it's used, right. It's funny because I'll talk about it on Facebook. Did you see that? And people,
No, I don't have
younger
Facebook.
crowds like what? And I'm always like, oh yeah, Facebook's for old people now.
Yes. I know, whatever. Even Instagram, I feel like it's kind of borderlining now, isn't it?
It's all about Snap, right?
Yeah,
the younger kids. Snap.
and TikTok.
Yes, and TikTok.
So
I know,
that's
I'm like,
right.
I can't keep up.
And then when you're on my end and I'm trying to promote something, I have to do all of them. So I reach
platforms.
everybody.
Yes.
It's so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, it could be a really good resource. And just being able to Google search things and chat GPT, and AI is creepy, but then it's also helpful, and just like everything all the time.
It's my husband's favorite thing right now, AI.
He's what?
It's my husband's favorite thing right now is the AI.
Oh, well,
thing,
chat
the
GPT. I always say that we always have
Yours
conversation.
too.
I know, I love it. And I'm like, refine this. Like, I'm a good writer, but it just kind of like, and it also helps you like proof, like you don't have to like, if you're missing a period or you spelled it wrong or whatever, like it's just kind of a nice like cleanup.
Yeah.
And that's what it's good for.
I don't hate it. Yes. But don't be using it to be us
Right,
and use our voices when we call our
No,
kids
I
and
don't
all
like
that
that.
evil stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it says like there's good and evil in everything.
Yeah. Everything.
Yes.
Since the beginning of time, darn it. But you have to be aware of it.
Yes.
And don't let the evil sneak its way in. No. All right. Well, Sarah, is there anything else that you would like to share before we wrap up today?
I mean, other than just saying thank you, I mean, I feel like, I think last time maybe even we mentioned this or we were briefly touching on it, but like for us and our family, I mean, I think just being able to feel loved and held through this storm for us has been huge, and even somehow getting wrapped into stuff, that I wouldn't even have ever like wanted to do maybe, and I was like, I don't want to do that. It's very much allowed me to let go of a lot of hurt that you carry around. And it helps me to just kind of, shed that off, come and laugh, come and enjoy the time, be with other people who really do care about you and are really genuinely concerned with things and want to hear updates or want to hear this. And so sometimes I'm always kind of, curious about that. But this definitely, the organization and everything like that, and even everybody that works in it, legitimately cares and is concerned and loves and wants to do all these fun things. Because again, not only does it serve the other person that you're doing this for, but it also blesses your own heart.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing I think about service, and think of it as a service. I mean, you guys are really doing a great service for the Lord and being able to help us when we are in our greatest need, our lowest lows, all those things. And regardless of what it is that we're experiencing or going through, you're still coming back and hey, inviting you to here and here, doing these things, or even going back to the gala every year.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a question when it was, are we going to go? Yes, we're going to go. Yes,
and you're going to be there this year too.
Yes, we are going this year. It's just always, we're always kind of like doing this back and forth kind of thing of, well, can we do it? And this, I think it's helped us to realize there's a lot of different things that we can do with Landis. I don't think I ever would have thought of putting her on a boat, and yeah, we did.
Yeah. That was so fun too.
It was awesome. It was good, like for us, like I don't get to talk to you or see you as much as maybe Charity, so it's like a little kind of catch up to see how she's doing, and I see like great strides every time I see you guys.
Oh, cool! I'm glad that you do.
Well, we had like all the wheelchairs on the dance floor at this.
It was so fun.
That was awesome.
So cute.
That was fun. I mean, that was like the highlight of my week right there. I was loving it. I was
so
my gosh, it was really fun. And just even seeing her do it,
Yeah, exactly. That's what and then we dug deeper. So this year the boat we were changing boats, and I don't know why there was like this not understanding as we were booking the boat. But this year, you guys will be able to take her outside and inside. So the food, the dance floor, it's all on one level. You obviously won't go up because they don't have elevators, but you can go out to the bow. So that was like a big thing. We're like, we need our wheelchairs to be able to get outside. So it's a better boat this year. So we're really excited. Yeah.
Can't wait.
I think that's the favorite because it's the most intimate. It's like really 2.5 hours with everybody, or 3 hours, whatever it is. And we really get to like be together, spend time
Which
together.
is funny because if you look at our world, we're like, oh man, 2 hours. Well, what if this happens? What if that happens? Blah, blah, all these things. But then it was kind of like, but it felt good because it was kind of like, but when you leave the marina or whatever, right? You're out on the water. that's it.
That's it.
You don't have any other choice. Like now you're out
You gotta
there.
figure it out.
So figure it out and have fun, enjoy yourself. And I think that's where everything goes through my mind. I'm sure like with every other parent, or every other Beni family and stuff like that they're thinking, well, what if this happens? What are we going to do? How are we going to fix this? How are we going to, for us, it's huge because Landis is not 20-pound kid.
She's full size
adult. And she's my height and we're, about the same, but we've adapted so much on how to do things with her that we're like, well, just make it work. We'll just figure it out.
Well, and you have a team of people if you need help. And a lot of times on the boat, there's doctors or not doctors necessarily, but like medical background people and military. And then you got the Navy ship right there. So if we needed anything, we're all right there. So it's good. So, well, thank you again for making time too, because I felt so bad when I had to tell you, and you were so gracious. So thank you so much. And thanks for coming back and sharing all of that and being vulnerable with us. And you're so much fun. Way more fun than I realized you were the first time I met you. Go figure. But it's been great to be a part of Landis's life and be able to go to graduation and to her birthday. And thank you for including us in all of that. It's really special to us. So that's been great too. Like the fact that you've been able to share in those things is really kind of special. Like you said, again, and I think you can say as much as I'm saying it, as much as you're doing for us, you're blessing yourself, or vice versa. Exactly. And it just feels really good to have the love and help and support and all that stuff. Without question, you're always like, hey, even if I have a question for you, you're always like, hey, I'm going to find out. Let me see what I can do. And it's cool. Yeah. Great resource for that. And but and whatever Gavin's doing, and you said that throw it my way. Yeah. If I can help, I will. If I can't, I'll be honest. And, but I just love that. It's getting like, we also, Allison and I both, I'll speak for myself. I'll get like text messages of an update or beneficiary families just want to share something that's really special. And I just feel like, hi, what did I do to deserve this? I just feel like it just means so much to me. Yeah. And my mom's like, you've always been like that. But I think when you're younger, you don't realize it, or I don't know. I don't want to say take it for granted, but you just aren't as in tune or in touch with it. And today it's like, I just love it so much. I just feel like God really chose me to do something extraordinary. And I am so honored, and I just love it. And I love being a part of all of your lives. And I feel like so humbled and blessed to be thought of by you guys too, and I want to be it's hard because I wish I could be more involved in more things for everybody and, do more and give more. But, we do the best we can. And I know that God just provides. I always go, he'll provide what he needs to provide when he needs to provide it. And just like Facing Stars, we're like, what are the numbers? I'm like, God will bring whoever's supposed to be there. And that's right. He'll bless it how he wants to. It's his thing. We just got to show up and do the work, guys. That's right. So, but on that note, tell your friends to come to Stars. Yes, please.
Everyone come. It's amazing.
It is a lot of fun.
It's a fun night.
Yeah. It is a lot of fun. I've had people talking about it still from when they came on our year, and I'm like, you can go back.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, I can?
Yes.
I don't think that they know that.
Once
we'll tell them, Sarah.
Want to go every year.
Yes, for sure.
And golf too. We have golf the day before, so that's always fun. And you guys are welcome to come out if you want to take Landis out for a day and on the golf course. I know it's a lot, but also it's kind of fun. People stop at all the golfers will stop and talk to everybody at the hole, and it's just a really fun day. So if you want to, providing, let's pray for weather to be good.
Yes, please.
All right, you guys. Well, Sarah, we're grateful to have you and love you and appreciate you. And we love your family and our sweet Landis, and are excited to see God continuing to work through you guys and bless others.
Keep praying. Your life. Yeah, 33.
We will.
Yeah. Go to landisstrong.com.
That's right. Landisstrong.com.
Yes.
All right, that's not all. We'll be back next week, and actually, we will be back in 2 weeks with Josh, because this will be a two-parter.
Yes.
And then Josh will be with us next week, but he'll air
Perfect.
a little bit after that. So, Sarah, we're still a two-parter.
Oh my gosh. I really got that long again. Sorry.
You didn't let us down. We were like, gosh, it was so
much.
good. And it was there's so much information. It was so good.
It was
And
great.
I just loved, I loved every part of it. So thank you. Yes. All right.
Perfect.
We'll be back next week. Everybody
Bye.
have a good week.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye.